I'm Patrick.
And this is Will.
And I'm Chris, and we are Guys with Issues. And in today's issue, we're talking about Emerald Eclipse, the final step before Blackest Night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
And before that, I think we need to just tell everybody that we went on a group adventure.
Yeah, we did, and it was a lot of fun.
We went on a group adventure?
Well, two and a half of us did, I guess.
Yeah, we went to Fort Wayne.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Because-
Man, I've slept since then.
It was your idea.
Hey, you know,
You even drove.
you're right. I even drove.
In the last issue, Will declared was it the last issue or the one before that? That you declared you'd never
it
had
was
Chicago
the one
style.
before that.
That's
because
right, because he had gone to get pizza. And Will had never had Chicago style pizza.
Correct.
And we remedied that.
We did.
Yeah, and it was delicious.
It was.
We got a chicken sausage
Spinach.
deep dish.
Spinach Deluxe.
Spinach deluxe. Yeah, it had mushrooms and lots of cheese, and it was oh so very good.
In the words of my daughter, deluxe, more like delicious.
Oh, yeah.
I love that
It's
kid.
true.
Yeah, so Will has now had Chicago deep dish pizza. And Fort Wayne also has a New York style pizzeria.
Yes.
We're going to have to try that.
We're going to have to try that.
For authentic New York style, we will tell you which one is better.
No.
They're both delicious,
Yep.
and I don't want to hear it.
We love pizza.
That's right.
Well, food. Just like broaden this out.
we
We
love
love food.
We do.
And where Christopher has had to eat crow on the fact he said we'll never eat food on the podcast because that'd be obnoxious. And
Turns
Now-
out people love hearing us lip smack for 10 minutes.
I cut so much lip smacks out of the last, because it wasn't the crunchy chews. I cut it all out. There was so much gooey, chewy
Oh,
sound.
I'm sure.
What did we eat last time?
Fig.
Oh, it was the fig.
salami.
Fig salami.
Fig
That's it.
salami.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it was. That stuff was actually pretty good.
So, Patrick,
Yeah, what's up?
did you bring us something? What were you bringing us?
I don't remember.
Tech stuff.
You bring us something tech related,
No, I didn't see anything interesting enough to bring up on the podcast.
but you did have fun going to Fort Wayne,
I did,
and you got yourself a Lego set.
even if I forgot.
You did.
Did you forget about the Lego set?
No, I know where that's at.
Is it still in your car?
No,
Oh, good. At least it made it
I
inside.
made it inside.
Wow. Is it still in your car?
Actually, Patrick, you use a remarkable tablet to...
I do.
Right. Have you heard, I think yesterday they announced the new version, the Remarkable Pro.
Yes, and I really want it.
Okay, do you want to tell us how is it an upgrade?
So it's bigger. It has an active pen instead of a passive one.
What does that mean?
It needs to be charged. Is really all people care about.
The pen has to be charged?
Yeah, it's more like an Apple Pencil than what Remarkable has.
I don't know what an Apple Pencil is.
Look, if you know what it is, you'll know what I'm talking about.
But you're supposed to help me know. That's your role now.
They can do
So
more
what-
things with it because it has a charge and it has
So you
a
can
little bit of smarts in it.
Yeah. So, like, I think, because I was looking into it too.
So it's no longer like a tablet pencil,
I mean,
like a
it is,
drawing
but
pad pencil.
No, right. That's correct.
Because that's kind of what the current one is.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
So, I don't know if this is the standard one that comes with it or you can upgrade to, like, a better pencil, but you can, like, you can write on one side and then you can actually flip it over
Yeah,
and then erase with it.
That's what his does.
I can do that with mine.
Oh, can you?
Yeah. And that's an
and it is
upgraded
the
pencil.
upgraded pencil.
Oh, okay. So that one is the pencil is already out.
No,
Like the pen, like
no,
that you can do that with.
Well, yeah, you can do that with this one, but you can do. I think it's it's more accurate Things like I don't know. I didn't look into it.
You didn't research that.
No, I didn't.
What else makes it a pro other than size? Or is it just new pen, new size?
New pen, new size, and its color.
It can do color?
It can do color.
Does it still have the same non-backlit matte surface, though?
Yes, but it also has a light that you can turn on so you can use it in the night. And the dark and it lights up the front of the screen.
So it's like Game Boys that had the option to toggle the backlit or like the light that you could turn on. Yeah. Oh.
And
so when you read comics on it, it will be in color?
Yes.
Instead of like the pencil look it has now.
Right. It can do around 20,000 different colors, I believe.
1,000 or million?
It might be. I think it's 1,000. I think it's only 1,000.
I thought, because I was talking with my HR accountant IT guy, and I could have swore he said it was like, how can it do 20 million colors? I can't even think of 20 million colors.
I mean, maybe, but I could be wrong. You can look it up, Will, if you really want.
I don't.
I bet your brain can process anyway, never mind.
The screen is, even with the light and everything, it's closer to where the pen rests on the surface.
Oh, interesting. So it doesn't have the gap that it currently does.
Right. It has more RAM, or more storage space from 8 to 64 gigs.
Wow, that's a huge jump.
Yeah. And
from what I read, it's a little bit more powerful too.
It's faster. Yep.
Yeah.
Has more RAM.
So it is a full upgrade.
Right. And so most, actually, up until this point, all color e-ink displays have been using a filter type color, which I'm not really going to go into the name of it or anything.
That's fine.
I don't remember. But this is the first one to refine how the actual e-ink stuff does it. So there's actually the color particles in the thing. So it doesn't just pull up like white.
Really?
It can pull up just like how you paint, like RGBev.
Really?
So it's got red, blue, and green in it. And to get the black that you see on the screen, it pulls those three colors up.
Oh, so it like functions totally differently than like anything really does.
Right.
That's in that marketplace.
Correct. And you can actually like you can get a yellow brush stroke, and then you put a green brush stroke on it, and it'll make the whatever yellow and green makes.
What?
Yeah.
Brown? I don't know.
Brownish.
It should have been what makes what?
Red yellow and blue.
Yellow and sure.
That makes green.
That's green. So you can do that.
Are you going to get one?
It's extremely fancy, and sometime soon. Well, not soon.
What you should consider is we should haggle for me buying your current one and then you using that money to buy your upgrade.
Well, to be fair, if you want one, there's a lot of them on eBay right now.
Oh, because everybody who has the current one wants to get the new one.
Right.
Yeah, the new one is, I saw a sticker price at $575.
Yes, that's just for the tablet.
But that's not a huge jump from the current one.
The current one's 300 and something.
Yeah.
399 maybe.
Something. That's what I'm saying though. Like for what you're describing, that's a pretty substantial jump for less than $200.
It is. And when I get this one, I'm not going to get the keyboard case with it because I hardly ever use it. It's not worth it.
No.
To me.
You will, I presume, get the new pen though.
Yeah, 100%.
Because of the functionality with it.
Yeah, well, mainly to erase.
Oh, because
that's worth it to me.
I see.
Yeah, my coworker was telling me how much of a pain it is to erase stuff
without that pen.
Without the pen.
So they did that on purpose to make you want to up-buy. That's what it is. They want to upsell you the pen because of the erase functionality.
Right.
Too bad it's not like an RF code thing, because you can program that into chips.
I know, right?
You just have an eraser with you that's a chip.
Yeah, but the new pencil has, or marker, they call it a marker, has new different tips and everything.
Like nubs? Different nubs?
Different nubs.
Oh, I had
has
a
a-
drawing tablet that you could change the nubs out for different feels, like pen or pencil or brush.
Well, I don't know if it's different nubs like that, but it has it has a mechanism with when you attach the nub. So when you depress it, it actually has some travel,
I hate depressed nubs.
and it's they say it feels even
Oh,
more
no.
like pencil and paper now. And I heard like somebody took one to it and just scribbled. It sounds so much like pencil and paper now. It's stupid.
And you're like, I want it.
I do. I really do.
See, look at that.
But if you
He
wanted
did
to
have
feel like
tech
you're
info.
writing on paper, this is what I was saying before. Like, where are we as a society that like we start out pencil, paper, or pen and paper, right? Or typewriter, whatever. And it's like, oh no, we're going to make everything digital now because then we can like file share. We make everything more efficient and faster. And then we got so far into that, we got distracted by it. It's like, okay, now we need to like go back the other way. But instead of just going back to pen and paper, we had to make new technology so that we aren't distracted by the technology that we first invented to make things more efficient.
I think it's just
Well-
a familiarity thing.
I think there's multi-layers. As somebody who wrote a 135,000 word novel by hand with notebooks and pencil, I can say that there is, well, I did a lot of research on the way your brain functions when you're processing words when you're writing. And there is a science behind writing by hand that supposedly helps with a certain level of like the way your thought flow functions.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's people who would dispute that and think, I
mean,
don't know.
that's why
No,
they-
I don't think so.
It's why they
But-
make you take notes in school.
But
It keeps you more
I
focused.
think that, well, there's a level of, hey, this is distraction free when you have a pencil and a paper,
Right.
but then you have to take the time to write it back out. So I think that's where something like The Remarkable is remarkable, because you can write as if you're using a notepad, but then you can upload it and have it as files immediately, or word processor kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You also have like the smart notebooks where you can use the erasable pens and you use the QR code on the pages, and it can snapshot those and put them into files for you. That's kind of the in between where it's not digital, but it has a digital component with an app. But then they make distraction free word processor typewriters now. You can buy Astra House makes the I'm totally blanking.
Didn't they make those before?
The free rights. They've had like 3 or 4 iterations of it now. There's different versions. There's travel ones that fold and are more compact and all this. But it's basically, ultimately, it's like a word processor that just uploads to a cloud, and you're typing on a mechanical typewriter,
Right.
but without paper.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that it all goes around in a way. And I think it's
Yeah.
a combination of familiarity, the desire for lack of distraction, and for people trying to figure out what actually generates the best flow. I think there's all
Around and
kinds of stuff.
away.
But interesting. Good way to ping him, Will.
Yeah. I just kind of
Thanks.
like
I appreciate it.
pulled that one off the dome. Something that happened yesterday.
So you're still bringing wacky facts.
Yeah, still
Do you
bringing.
want me to go first before you go into that?
Sure,
I'm
if you want
supposed to punch wallets, right?
Right.
Is that that's what Will
Which I'm
said I need
interested
to do?
to hear what you have to say. Then, 'cause I
So
don't,
Will's wallet got punched at the Gundam store.
it did a little bit. Yeah.
He bought his first real great
Yep,
kit.
that's true.
And he came over and built a leg at my house.
Yep, I now have a leg to stand on.
And you were enjoying it.
I did really enjoy it.
Yeah, cool. So I got another guy into plastic
And
crack.
just a quick little like follow up. I did keep watching Gundam.
Did you watch?
At
Did you
home,
keep?
yeah.
So I gave
couldn't
him the full experience and turned on the original series. I think I told you
You did
that,
tell me
yeah.
that, yeah.
Yeah. So I kept watching
Have
it.
you
I didn't-
met Ramba Rawl yet?
I couldn't remember what episode I was on, so no.
I didn't drop my phone.
I dropped my phone this time. Oh no. I'm watching Gundam. I'm dropping my phone. If I show up in a suit and tie next week, you know.
He's turning into me. Oh, shoot. But are you enjoying Gundam?
Yes. Yeah.
All around, the model
All around.
and the show.
Yep.
Nice.
Cool. Well, and you're welcome to drop back in again and keep working this weekend. Just
just
give me a
might do
heads
that.
up. So, a couple of things. I wanted to follow up because I mentioned Dusseldorf mustard last week.
Yes.
And in my edit, I took out a part where I compared it to Grey Poupon. Grey Poupon is considered a brown mustard, but Dusseldorf is a darker mustard, sometimes has wine or horseradish mixed in with it.
Oh, that's interesting.
And it's from Dusseldorf, Germany. So
That's completely different.
yes. So
Unless you're Will.
So to punch your wallets, a couple of things. One, for our video gamers out there, if you own a PS5, the new Astrobot game is releasing this week. If any of you own a PS5 and have ever played the Astrobots like Playroom game that it comes with, it's a great little almost Mario-esque PlayStation game. Well, the full-fledged Astrobot game comes out this week, and it's basically being lauded as every bit like on par with playing Mario on PlayStation.
We'll see.
We know a lot of y'all listen to us talk about playing board games. And there's a new Kickstarter that launched, new GameFound launched this week for a video game made into a board game. Cyberpunk 2077, the board game. The minis are awesome. Awesome. It's being compared to something like Gloomhaven, but with Cyberpunk, which sounds crazy.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But it would suit the fact that Cyberpunk tends to be a narrative-focused game.
Right.
But yeah, so if you love Cyberpunk 2077, the video game, and you love board games, check out GameFound because your wallet is about to get punched.
Nice.
Also, if you own the Cyberpunk 2077 tabletop RPG, if you own like the books, it might be worth checking out the board game, see if they have an option for like miniatures only. Sometimes they do an add-on that's extra minis. And if you have the tabletop game, that would have minis straight from the lore.
That would be awesome.
Yes. I was going to bring something comic related, but I was like, board game related. That works.
It's still nerdy. It still works.
It does. Oh, one last thing for people who play the tabletop game Warhammer 40K. When you're listening to this week is the launch of Space Marine 2, the video game.
Nice.
Sweet.
So there you go. Your wallet's been punched this week. And for those of you who can't tell, we're trying to reformat some of our banter, make it a little more focused. Maybe you don't like it. Tough cookies.
Structure Steve is taking over.
Yeah, and if you don't like that, you can email us at longbox@guyswithissues.com.
Sometimes we just kind of ramble about random things, which is okay. Some people like that. But we're trying to bring a little bit of flair to the banter, a little specificity.
Right.
Yeah, spice it up.
Whack us with your facts.
Wacky facts. So, every day we get a little bit older. It feels like.
Every second we
About
get
a
every
day.
second.
Yeah, every day I feel a day older.
But a new study at the University of Stanford indicates that humans are rapidly aging at ages 44 and 60.
I've read this.
Oh, did you read this?
Go on.
I saw this a couple days ago. So while aging is often seen as a steady progression, a new study from Stanford University has found that there are, on average, spikes in the process around the ages of 44 and early 60s due to molecular changes. The study examined 108 participants who donated blood and other biological material over the course of years. Scientists aren't sure if these moments of rapid aging are biological, behavioral, or a mixture of the two. The old midlife crisis kind of digging into you.
Well, in your early years, you have spikes in change.
Right.
You have like growth spurts and things like that.
Correct.
And so it wouldn't seem out of place for the human body to have a degenerative side of that as well.
Which is what they talked about in this. They're like, they anticipated that exact thing, but they didn't expect it to happen twice. The one they predicted, or they kind of, hypothesized, if you will, since this is a scientific study, they anticipated the one at 60, or like roughly in that age range. But they're like, why is it also happening in like mid 40s on average? Like that.
Did they find that it's consistent for both males and females as well?
Yeah.
That's interesting as well because sometimes those things differ.
Because they talked about the female one because females go through like menopause.
Yeah.
And they're like, maybe that's what's skewing kind of our data, but men also showed at the same time. So it like
during menopause.
Yeah.
Interesting. That is a wacky fact.
That is wacky.
So if you're around those ages,
yeah, thanks.
get ready for rapid degeneration.
I'm ready. I ain't got no choice.
I ain't got no choice.
Because the alternative is even worse.
DED dead.
Right.
It's the only way to stop aging. To die.
Pretty much.
No, legitimately.
At least for now.
It's not the fountain of youth. It's the fountain of death. Ooh, that sounds like a good book idea.
The Fountain of Death.
Like they think it's the fountain of youth, but it's not.
Yeah. I thought there was something interesting in this article, but I can't remember where it was. They just say at the end.
You could take notes and just talk about it.
I know, right? That's what I kind of did there at the beginning. But whatever the factors, this study highlights the importance of both focusing on health around those two ages and putting healthy practices in place before you reach them. After all, nothing delays the reaper quite like diet, exercise, and good night's sleep.
You know, what else is interesting about that is that oftentimes, I want to say it's like at 25 or 30, there's a point where your physical health, there's like a benchmark where depending on what your trends are then, you'll kind of keep trending that direction. So if you've been gaining weight and things like at that checkpoint, you're probably going to struggle with weight gain and things after. But if you're healthy and it kind of rides that way, there's something in the earlier years like that about a trend.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe that's behavioral instead of biological.
No, it has something to do with consistent biology. Because there's a metabolic change at an age range. Like at one of those ages, it's in your like late 20s or early 30s. There's a metabolism shift for most people. And so depending on if your body is focused on like the stage of like your consistent metabolism can affect like how your body trends.
I also heard that about hair. Like if you still have your hair, sorry, Patrick, if you still have your hair.
Why does this feel like an attack on Patrick?
It's not.
Can you make that the cover of this issue? Do like Attack on Titan, but make it Attack on Patrick. And
Let's not.
Are we the Titans attacking him, or is he the Titan popping up over the wall?
That's what I pictured.
That would be hilarious. I wish I was a better artist.
I give up.
Don't give up. DED dead.
Right.
But yeah,
what's your hair thing?
If you're a man, or I guess a woman too, women also lose their hair. But if you have it, if you still have a full head of hair by the age of 30, you'll probably have it for the rest of your life.
Is that true?
I guess if you get like.
I mean, I was losing mine at 18, so.
So was Curtis.
Yeah.
So.
In fact, his senior year of high school, because I went to high school with that guy, he showed up with a shaved head on the first day, and everyone was thinking he joined a very prejudiced group.
Well, he kind of comes across like that. No,
he does. Yeah.
He comes across as a supremacist.
Well,
and for all of you who listen that know him, I just imagine you're all nodding. Yeah, he does kind of sometimes, doesn't he?
well,
It's just it's a statement. It's not derogatory. It's just a statement.
sure.
It's a factual statement. But so which is crazy because when you see his driver's license picture from when he was like 16, he had long hair.
Yeah, he did.
It was like emo swept.
Oh, yeah, he did do that for a little while.
Yeah, I've seen it. He looks totally different.
But I think like he started losing it at like 16 or 17. That's why he grew it out to kind of hide the receding hairline.
It's a genetic thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yours started when you were 18?
I'm sure it was
Ish?
before that. Yeah.
Interesting. That is interesting, sir. Thank you for sharing a personal fact about yourself.
Sure.
Is your PIN number? No, I'm just... Oh, anyway, is it What are we doing?
Are we doing snacks?
Snacking?
Snacks
are
or
we
emails?
snacking?
Snacks or emails? I don't
We
remember.
switch back and forth sometimes, but generally we snack first.
Let's snack first.
And guess
Well,
what?
Chris is hungry today, so let's snack.
Well, Chris brought a snack.
Oh,
Will has
let's go, I guess.
his face changed completely.
Completely.
I'm like, we were gonna have-
the window to his soul, the eyes in his head balls totally shifted.
I had a shift in head balls.
Okay. Here you go.
Okay, fish snack spicy. He's gonna make us eat fish food, everybody.
It kind of smells like fish food.
Oh, the little sticker on the side, I read the first 3 words, says "Do not eat." And I was like, okay, no.
It's from the Asian market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ingredients: anchovy, fish, chili powder, sugar, distilled vinegar, chili, soy sauce.
I already had to try them, so I was like, they're coming to the podcast.
Product of Thailand. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. You're gonna take so you know what they look like. They're kind of like, you know, that bar snack mix. They kind of have the look of those little brown, like sweet, chewy pieces that are in that.
They do. Yeah.
That's kind of
I'm sure that's not what they taste like at all.
That is not what they smell like at all. When it says fish snack, I thought fish food, and fish food is exactly what it smells like.
That's wonderful.
So we've now drank something that smelled like rabbit food. And now we're
Yep.
eating something.
That's kind of what kicked this off.
It is exactly what kicked this off.
That is what kicked this
It
off.
is.
I'm going to take 2 at the beginning, just so I don't get defeated. So I'm
Oh,
going to beat Chris this time.
I know. Well, I feel like now if I bring something, Will's alert meter, his little guys in his head automatically hit like DEFCON 1. Smell it. Take it. Smell it. Take it. Oh, what do you think, Patrick?
Yeah, fish food.
It does, doesn't
Yeah,
it? Wow, my
100%.
one piece has like 4 pieces attached to it.
I've noticed.
Looks kind of like a starfish.
It does. Anyway, okay, guys, you got it? You ready?
All right, let's do
Go.
this.
Number 1. You definitely get a lot of fishiness because of the anchovy, obviously. Mm-hmm. But a nice little like chili spice on your tongue. It's
Just
not
a little.
like it's not like spicy, but you kind of get those flakes that kind of pop off there.
Yeah,
Do you taste a momentary sweetness as well?
I do.
I do too.
Before that powerful fish taste just kind of washes it all away.
See, it has that initial like sweetness that those bar snacks do have.
Right. Yeah, it's all right. I don't
All right.
think I need another one.
Number 2.
He's
You
doing
gotta-
2.
You got to try it twice.
No, you have to try it twice. You've made this thing up. I don't have to try it twice.
Yeah, so what's your opinion then?
I mean, if somebody offered me more, I'd probably have one, but I'm not going to go out and buy them myself.
Will's motioning for me to offer him more.
Yeah, do it. He says he would.
No,
They're not
They-
bad.
it just reminds me of like if you've ever had really plain sushi where the seaweed taste comes through a lot
Yeah,
and you get the fish and the seaweed. It's kind of that vibe.
a little bit.
A little bit.
I'm so hungry, I'm just eating them. I don't like these very much. I don't dislike them.
I don't dislike them, but I don't like them either.
That's kind of how I feel.
Yeah.
Dude, if I don't just keep eating them, they're going to get thrown away probably. Nobody's going to eat these.
Nobody's going to eat those.
Not even a fish.
Maybe Will.
You could throw them on some white rice, maybe with some soy sauce.
There you go. You can try that at home.
You could put it on a salad
Like a stir fry.
Well, sure.
with century duck eggs and big salami.
Just do like a big salad of all the snacks we've ever tried
Bro.
on this show.
That's horrible. Horrible.
But Will, what do you think overall?
Overall, I'd honestly 6 out of 10.
That high?
Yeah.
Maybe he'll eat them. Give them to him.
They're not bad.
I got to quit crunching on the mic. We're talking now. Jeez Louise. What am I doing?
I don't know. You guys,
Editing this later?
have you ever...
No, I can't. I asked him a question. I was like chewing over him.
Right?
Dag nabbit.
Just mute your mic for that section.
Just keep
I could-
those
I could do
sweet,
that.
sweet mouth sounds in there.
You know, our first-time listeners are going to be like, why do they think that without ever having heard that there's been emails that praise it?
I don't know.
You'll never please everyone.
It's correct.
That is
And
a
if
true
you're
statement.
this podcast, you'll never please anyone.
I don't know about that.
I'm pretty happy with it. You know,
Yeah.
There's a few people in this room that are pleased with it. Well, thanks, Aunt Gwen, for the snack. Sierra,
So unlike Spider Gwen,
I got fish in my throat.
yep.
So, Sierra's aunt bought those at the Asian market when they visited on Saturday because she thought everybody should try them. And
what a good spirit. What a good soul.
she was probably the most positive, aside from me, about them. And I thought, you know where these belong on the podcast.
So where you're like, I have these two friends. And they have issues. One of them is about to be these fish snacks.
No. Would you give it then like a 4?
Yeah, probably 4.
And you gave it a 6?
I'd give it a 6.
I don't know.
I do like how the chili and like the sweetness does go pretty well with the fishiness of the
I
anchovy.
wouldn't recommend it.
Oh, that reminds me. You what was it that you recommended? You recommended
I recommended something? That doesn't sound like me. Squirrel Girl.
No, the Legends and Lattes.
Oh, yeah.
So would you give that a 5 out of 5?
I would.
Wow. I would have given it maybe a 3.
Yeah, it was really good.
Maybe.
I enjoyed it immensely.
Yeah, it's not my thing, but
Interesting.
Which is why you gave it a 3.
now the narrator. I mean, the whole reason I listened to it was because Travis Baldree read it and wrote it.
Right.
It was his book. It was his
Correct.
like debut novel.
Right.
So, but I don't know if I think I was the one did I tell you about it?
Yes.
But that's because I felt like it was something you might enjoy.
And I did.
But it's not really for me. Do you think Will would like it?
I've read
No.
like the synopsis on
I don't think you
Audible.
No.
I can't see if you would either feel like I did or maybe slightly better.
I think it's slightly better than you,
But you wouldn't be anywhere near what like
Interesting.
Patrick being like, yeah, I enjoyed that. So anyway, tangent.
Well, let's ask real quick. Do you enjoy slice of life anime?
Not really.
There you go.
Yeah, right there. Because it's just a slice of like book, super low stakes.
Yeah.
Very little really happens.
Right. But it's a short book.
I would be annoyed.
But it's a fun little book about a budding romance and a coffee shop in a fantasy land.
Yeah.
I have to recommend it to my sister. She loves the whole
Yeah,
slice of
she
life
would probably
stuff.
enjoy it.
Then
immensely.
she would dig it. I guarantee you. Are you talking about Jess?
Yep.
Jess would like this book, I think.
I have to tell her about it.
I will ask you a question pertaining to something specific in the book. Do you know what I'm alluding to?
No idea.
It has to do with the main character.
Okay.
Anyway, there's one question I will pose to you about Jess and what she reads, and that may influence it a little bit. But
Okay, hit me.
no, I'm not doing it on the podcast.
Oh, okay.
I'll
Oh,
ask
then I
you
know what
after.
you're talking about.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I could see being a little divisive for
Sure.
people, but it's so minor,
Yeah.
like ish. It is,
is.
but it's not.
Right.
I mean,
Like,
I
you-
think... no, I'm not going to finish that sentence.
Anyway, so that was our tangent. Instead of Will White, we talked about Travis Baldree, who reads Will White's books,
Right.
narrates them.
He's Will White related.
White.
He's that was funny. He was Will White adjacent. So we had to tie them into the book.
Yeah,
Anyway.
well, I really don't think they're related.
So, emails. Here's the mail. We have one, right?
Emails.
Yeah.
Yeah. We technically have two, but I'm just going to say if we do,
We have two.
yeah.
I plead the fifth.
If we record early next week, we might not have one. So I'm just going to, save it, keep it in the pocket.
Okay.
Because they're both from Christoph. So unless you want like a double Christoph day, which isn't bad, they're both good emails. But this one's titled
Christoph Day. Sorry.
This one is titled From A to 0005. Hey, issues. Big thank you to Patrick for suggesting Dungeon Crawler Carl as an audiobook.
Oh, yeah.
Don't know why I struggled with the word suggesting, probably because he's spelled suggestion. But anyway, it was
Just
a great.
calling him out.
Sometimes it's hard to read. Sometimes, it was a great listen with some awesome narrations. I highly recommend you getting the "You Read a Book" achievement. Will should definitely contact his city's water department, which I did, and there's an application and I filled it out.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
Will's water department woes.
Yep. Most do care and have a special form you can fill out for large water leaks, so they will either prorate that water at a much lower rate or dismiss it. It sucks to have to miss out on seeing Nightwing's butt padding for that reason. Maybe stop using water altogether and switch to sand baths. You never hear anyone having trouble with their sand lines.
Wow.
I mean, I have trouble with my sand lines at work.
Moving on. I'm almost like, hey, maybe you should desert them altogether.
I have a pendulum at work with a little sand thing, and
Oh,
people
one of
mess
those
with
little-
it, and the sand goes everywhere. So yeah, I have problems with my sand lines.
You do.
Yeah.
Fun. I love the suggestion of quizzing Patrick on riddles even more than Patrick bringing them up.
Yeah, we skipped that, but I brought one this week.
I had to look one up as I walked in through the door.
Okay, finish the email and then we'll stick it in.
Yeah.
Thanks, Christoph.
Love the suggestion of quizzing Patrick on riddles even more than Patrick bringing them up. Time to pick that brain of his. Let me try one. Patrick, what do you call your PIN number?
A good time.
The answer is, I don't know. Fill in the blank, Patrick. Gosh darn it, fill it in. Okay, for my new self-started section, question time with Professor Chris.
Oh, no.
Please tell us a little more about the Alpha Lanterns. I am shamefully not reading along, so I want some info. Are they taller, more powerful? Do they just always get called first when it comes to alphabetical attendance calls?
Well, we're going to see what they do this week, aren't we?
We do
Yes,
see what
we
they do.
Basically, just really basic overview. They are lanterns that underwent a very invasive surgery and basically have a power battery built into them. So they're like cyborgs almost.
So they're almost like lesser ions.
Yes. And they still have rings, but their power level is totally different. And they are very much less human.
Yeah,
They're basically robots.
The Guardians took their initial Manhunter program that they started with before they started the Green Lantern Corps, and they're like, "Hey, what if we just take a Green Lantern and we make them into a Manhunter?"
Basically, that's a good
because they basically follow all the same orders, like unquestioningly.
Yeah,
But
they have no humanity anymore.
Yeah.
Is what it appears thus far.
Thus far. I agree.
All right, continuing on. We seriously need to publish a picture of LW's comic. I am in awe of such talent. I have no drawing skills whatsoever, so I am not going to subject you to such horrors. I will stick with making up fancy titles, as that is what I do best. And clarification that her comic was a bunch of selfies kind of put together, but it was still really funny. and we'd have to get her permission to post
We
it.
could run it through one of those art generators and turn it into an illustration.
We could.
Oh, that would be fun.
We could do that with her permission, obviously.
With her permission. Of course, we would never steal her likeness for anything. As for closing, since I'm pretty sure my ploy failed earlier in the email, Patrick is your pin number 0005.
Nope.
Better luck next week, Christoph. Yours truly, the prolonger of podcast, the hunter of Superboy, the not so to the butso, the so much redacted, the sixth chic, the yin to LW's yang, the extreme river crier, the podricated, the king of emails, the holder of the periwinkle ring, the hater of duck eggs, good on you, Chris, the disappointed Deadpool variant, the alpha emailer, Christoph.
You know, we only have 2 more nutsos to the butsos.
I know, it's a shame, really.
Okay, Patrick.
Yeah.
Thank you, Christoph, for your email. We appreciate you being a part of our segments each week. Patrick,
Yeah.
what do you do when a sink is knocking on your door?
You let that sink in.
Ah, he did know that one. I knew he would. I let that sink in. Will, what did you bring for him?
Oh no, where did it go?
Oh, no.
Where did it come from? Where did it go?
Where did it come from? Cotton Eye Joe.
Another cow.
Oh, here it is. Okay.
We haven't referenced. Dang it! I'm gonna keep eating. I'm in a mood.
Why did this is kind of IT related because he's the IT guy. Why did the band 1023 megabytes split up?
Because they didn't have any gigs?
Yep. They couldn't get a
Wow.
gig.
Oh, there you go. They couldn't get a gig.
Wow, dude, well, he beat us both this week.
I know, right? That was pretty low hanging fruit, but
Better luck next week.
I've already told Chris
Dang it.
this one, but Will, did I tell you about my friend Joe?
no, you didn't.
Yeah, he went on the Dolly Parton diet. It worked really well. It made Joe lean.
I like that. Joe
That's what
Lane.
everybody said that I told it to.
Jolene. Oh, jeez. Now every time I hear that song, I'm going to think of your stupid joke.
Yes!
No.
Oh, here's a bonus one. Just because in our previous segment we released on Monday, we talked about Squirrel Girl.
Yeah.
I played 18 holes today. What did you get? A birdie, 2 squirrels, and a frog.
Nice.
Well,
Nice.
yeah, but that was just a joke.
Yeah.
He couldn't have guessed that.
No,
But he'll use it maybe
Maybe.
next time he golfs.
if I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Which is going to be something.
time to make room for a Roomba.
Time for that synopsis.
Yeah.
In the final prelude to Blackest Night, Mongol has taken over Daxam, the homeworld of Saddam-Yat. Saddam-Yat and Arisia go on a mission to save his homeworld. Outnumbered and outgunned, Saddam decides to sacrifice himself in order to turn Daxam's sun from red to yellow.
There you go.
This unlocks the Daxamites' Superman-like powers, giving them hope in the fight against Mongol and the Sinestro Corps. Meanwhile, on Oa, the Sinestro Corps members being held prisoner have been set loose to once again rain terror. All of the Green Lantern Corps members on Oa fight hard to restore order, only to have the shell around Oa explode. The Smurfs, returning from the diplomatic mission on Zamaron, order the Alpha Lanterns to round up all of the rioting prisoners and execute them, unknowingly triggering the beginning of the Blackest Night. Does the Green Lantern Corps have what it takes to survive? Find out with us on Guys with Issues.
Yeah, there was a lot that happened. A whole lot.
Yeah, that was one of the happeningest issues we've read in a while.
Well, storylines, I think. I don't know what they're called, but there's more than one issue. We read
Arcs.
6
Story
arcs.
arcs. So, let's do this. Structure time. Patrick, what was your favorite scene?
Oh, that scene.
Right.
That makes sense.
It's a musical number.
My turn.
He's
Man, I don't know. I have
he's
so many of these dumb things.
Of good scenes?
Just things that I found were interesting.
Good. You'll have
I'm
plenty
going
to throw
to
out there.
say
It's just so remarkable.
one of my favorites was the splash page, with the whole science cells being attacked.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Yes,
The 2-pager?
the 2-pager.
Yeah,
Friggin' awesome.
it was. When they're fighting all of the jailbreaks.
Yes,
Yeah.
both Sinestro Corps and the other prisoners they got out.
Yeah. The prisoners that are people that make appearances from previous issues. That's what that felt good. I think that
Like-
that makes it all like Bullfunga
Funga.
Right.
and Nero. Ooh. Anyway,
Ooh, that poor guy.
yeah, didn't make him any promises. Well, favorite scene.
So my favorite scene this time has to be when Sinestro shows up on Korrigar and tells Sornik not to that she is his daughter. Which
Sornik, I am your father.
yes, and it was my favorite because two issues ago,
You
I
called
called it.
100%.
I called it.
I have that
Which-
written down.
That Will called it.
That's literally the note. Yeah, I called it.
Wow.
But yeah, that was Sinestro was just like a good villain, and it was a good scene.
He's the villain that truly believes he's the hero.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that was mine.
Oh yeah.
I picked that as well. I love when he shows up and he says, "Your ring is my ring. Your blood is my blood."
Oh, that was really
That was
good.
awesome.
I was going to say that scene, but I didn't want to take the thunder away from.
Because you knew he was
appreciate
going to pick that.
I did 100%.
So, I do want to say, I want you both to know how many times I had to catch myself from spoiling that. Because I've known the whole time.
Yeah.
Because I read it before. And so, like, all of the times when she first shows up and she confronts him and she's at Korrigar and, like, all that stuff, I had to avoid everything that I could possibly handle to refrain. Like, I had to avoid spoiling that reveal.
Yeah.
Because there are so many times where I wanted to say something and I just didn't.
I will say, I was kind of doubting my own theory because I'm like, how much more interesting would it be if, but like this would have gone like, it would have taken them way longer and kind of gone out there. I kind of like they kept it simple and they just like made it not to. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, what if, you have the obvious one who is, not to, but like what if Sinestro did some weird space magic and made her partner Eland
Oh,
look like one of the aliens on like, because they're in the same sector, I think.
okay.
And like she was actually his daughter that he made look like one of these other aliens or whatever.
That's very complicated.
It is very complicated.
But no, it's
Because
yeah,
they
it's a
both-
great moment.
They
though.
both kind of had like the mark on their face.
I could see that.
And I'm like, it would have been way more complicated. And like maybe they would have had to pull in some stuff from like before Jeff Johns took it over. Like maybe there was some stuff going on back then that they could have used. But overall, I'm like, I like how they kept it kind of simple.
Yeah.
It was a good plot twist that they didn't overcomplicate, unlike my brain.
I also appreciate that it brings a side of humanity to Sinestro,
Yeah.
because usually he's more of just like the up in the clouds, high and mighty kind of fascist. But this humanizes him a little bit. A little bit.
A little bit.
Not a lot.
Nope.
Not a lot of it, but a little bit. Patrick,
Yeah.
you said you got a list. I want to hear these.
So I'm not going to tell you the scene. I'm going to read what I wrote.
Okay. And then we're going to tell you the scene.
Sure. These are my notes. Okay. Are you ready?
Yep.
So they can capture Red Lantern. Interesting. And he got out.
Yeah, it didn't last very long.
No, like the panels.
Yeah.
Panels. Not even pages. Panels.
That's hilarious. I had the science cell breakouts. Like that
Yeah,
that
me
whole
too.
sequence was really cool.
It was good.
What did you enjoy about that?
Well, particularly at like towards the end when my phone.
We really can't fix that.
Towards the end, when my phone
Yes, towards the end when my phone
Buzzed
no,
in everybody's ear.
when the
Buzz
shell
Funka.
when the shell breaks, Bafunga!
When the shell breaks.
And they're like,
It's
oh,
like when the world turns.
everybody was like losing their heads. They're like, oh, everybody in the galaxy is going to look up in the sky. They're going to see like the Green Lantern symbol floating through because we just got, disgraced. And Kilowog's like, did you look at your chest? You
wrote
still
that down.
got the symbol on there.
Heck
It's
yeah.
still on your ring. We're still the Green Lanterns. We're still going to kick some butt. Everybody pull your heads out of your butts and let's go kick some
Yeah.
Sinestro Corps people in the face.
Yeah, he's
yeah,
like,
you poozers.
that was a good. I loved that.
That was
Yeah.
great.
Well, because when they're like, because Kyle and Guy were the two that are like, yeah, people are gonna see that and they're gonna lose all hope. And dude, when he says that, when he's like, look at that symbol on your chest, is it cracked? It's
Look,
like,
is that ring still on your finger?
Kilowog's awesome.
dude,
That was
he
just-
is.
He is.
He is.
No
No, I
doubt
had that
about
one
it.
written down. Patrick, you got another one?
I thought it was very interesting that Sinestro Corps has a world snake.
Yeah, a big old like cobra. in
Yeah, I was
space.
trying to think of what the actual world snake's name is.
Yormonger.
There we go.
Yormunder.
That's what.
Thank
whatever.
you, God of War, for that information.
Oh,
But
that's
yes.
that's squirrel thing.
Squirrel Girl. No, but yeah, I was like,
Jormungandr or something.
so I'm just really reading off my notes. I'm like, that was
Oh, you're
interesting.
fine. Yeah, and also Sodom Yacht friggin' flew through it when he was
did.
like powered up. He just punched right through a giant space snake.
I mean, who doesn't?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we've all done it once or twice in our
Right.
youths.
In our youth.
Our use. Nice.
Will, you got another one? Got any more?
Yes. I liked when it was a line from Guy when they were kind of talking about like what had happened. And they're like, yeah, this Blue Lantern guy. He's like, what? He's like, yeah, the Blue Lantern. I think his name was Walker. And he's like, Johnny Walker Blue? And they're like, I think his name was actually Saint Walker. But, I like it because it was like a whiskey reference. And I'm like, I can't believe I didn't think like Blue Walker. Ugh.
I like you're like, oh man.
There was obviously that pun there, and I just didn't get to it.
I liked Guy and Bullfunga's team up moment.
That was good,
Dude,
too.
that
That was pretty good.
that was so dumb. And he's like, I can't let you die because I love getting to kick your butt once in a while. Like it was such a Guy thing, but
It
it,
really
was
was.
like, it was very good humored behind it. Though.
was.
That's what was so
Yeah.
funny with it.
He's like, you complete me, Bullfunga.
He called him Bali.
Oh, Bali,
You
yeah.
complete me, Bali. I laughed out loud. I was like, that is funny. Patrick, what else you got, bro?
I like the whole thing where, and I don't know who the only orange lantern is.
Larfleeze?
Yeah,
Okay.
I like how he took over one of the God of Hungers.
Yeah, that was in the stuff that we didn't read.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
good job, Pat.
Hey.
Spoilers
That
for
happened.
next time.
You'll be all right.
It's okay. It's like a 2-page thing.
It is.
It's super short. But I think it's just so you know that it's in his armory. Will, what else would you like to present us with?
I like how Guy and Kyle were the only ones really standing up against the Guardians in their decision to kill all the prisoners.
I had that down too.
And like conveniently, the Guardians were like right before it happened, like go away. And they zapped them back to Earth, and then all crap broke loose.
Oh yeah. That's the page that I own, by the way, from Gleason.
Oh, is it?
Because I own the Batman and Robin page, but the Green Lantern Corps page is the one where they're standing like this with their fists out, with the Alpha Lanterns looking back at them,
Oh,
and they're
yeah.
like they deserve. They have to go through a trial, and guy goes, due process, bud.
Yep.
And the Alpha Lanterns are like, you can't stand in the way of the Guardian's edict. That's the page I own. So that's what's on my
Cool
bookshelf
page.
at home. It is. That's why when I saw it, I was like, oh, it's a perfect example of like Kyle and Guy at their best. Like,
Yeah.
I loved it. So yeah, that was cool. I was glad to own that page. I wrote that down. Also, this had the page that I missed out on buying, the Sinestro page, when he's got her partner and he's standing there. Not in the shadow, but when he's got like the energy wings behind him. That's the page that I was going to buy that I missed out on and have the deepest regrets of my life. But anyway.
You got
Patrick,
any more?
What else you got?
Oh, I guess you just kind of talked about.
The whole like when Sodom Yacht's mother came back and then he's like yelling at her because all the crap that that his parents did to him and how they had to go find aliens to help protect them from aliens.
And he's like, I'm not going to help you. But then when it was Mongol, he was like, and the Sinestro Corps,
Right.
he's like, oh, it's the responsibility of Green Lanterns.
Yeah.
That's the only
The only reason he went.
But he still held to his responsibility.
He did. That was good. I really like that.
Yeah, when that was, man, all that stuff with his planet. Ugh. Anyway, Will.
I don't know if we're talking about this, but the when Kyle was given the idea by Natu to paint the one hall.
Oh yeah.
And everybody was like, Guy, for whatever reason, he's like, I can't believe I must be psychotic for, agreeing to help you prime this thing so you could paint it. And then slowly but surely, like all the Green Lanterns just start showing up like, hey, I want to help too.
Yeah.
And, then they become like supervisors and guys yelling at them being like, be the brush. Be the brush.
Be the brush.
And they're like, shouldn't I be the paint? Or
And they're
something
like,
like
no,
And
you
he's like, if I say brush, you be the brush.
right.
I do like the guy looks at Kyle and he's like, well, good job, Huck Finn.
No, that was
yeah.
good.
Or no, he goes, good job, Tom Sawyer. And he
Tom
goes,
Sawyer.
thanks, Huck.
Yeah. And then there's the really cool scene where it kind of like, what is the word I'm trying to think of? It not predicts, but
Foreshadows.
Yes, there we go. Couldn't think of that one. Somebody spills all the black paint.
Oh, yeah.
And then you see like it's a top down, like I don't think it's a splash page. Maybe it is a splash
It's
page.
a big,
It's a
bigger
huge
panel.
section on
just like
the,
a half
on the
page. Yeah. But like all the black paint and there's like a green and all the different colors and it's just like a really cool shot.
Yeah, it's almost like a giant black hand shape, like with each of the
reaching out to the colors.
Yeah, and each color is then in different stacks of paint buckets, like
Right where
is
the rings
in it.
are at on the fingers.
Yeah, it's foreboding.
Yes. And we haven't really been talking about it, but Kyle seems to have some kind of like prophetic abilities because he's been drawing like all of these pictures of the dead and then the thing with like the black paint. So I don't know if this is just like them, like the Jeff Johns using him as like a narrative, foreshadowing piece, or maybe this comes back into play. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't remember, honestly. Patrick, do you have some more?
Maybe.
I have one or two things, I think.
Oh, I thought it was very interesting that Natu, was that her name?
Mm-hmm.
Did not attack Sinestro as he was walking away.
Because she knew what he said was true.
Yep.
And she's like, dang it.
Dang it.
I know she goes to do it, and
She
he
does.
knows she's not gonna.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that whole sequence, man. That was intense. You have another one,
Yes.
Will?
Not really.
We touched on pretty much everything.
I think we did.
I also noted a couple minor things. One, what about when, how interesting, was it that it basically seemed like Scar was inhibiting Sodom Yat's use of ion?
Right?
Like he was like trying to tap into the ion power and she wouldn't let him.
Yeah. Oh, that
Dude.
Because he had a ring on.
Yep.
Is
That-
what they said. But is
that whole plot
Yeah,
line.
but the rings lie to them later.
Yeah.
She breaks the dome.
I know.
but it says it was the children of the White Lobe.
Uh-huh.
And so immediately you go, as readers, through dramatic, what's the word? What's the term for
Extrapolation.
No, dramatic irony.
There you go.
The dramatic irony is when you, as the reader, knows the truth of the situation when the characters do not. And the reality is, she blocked the accessibility of Ion. Then she blew the dome, the shell, and then the rings. She manipulated the rings to provide false information, is what it seemed like.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so we, in dramatic irony, know that at this point in the story, nothing they have reported through their rings is technically trustworthy.
Right.
Which is really crazy when you think of how often they use their rings.
Right.
So,
Right.
Yeah, that's... Did you have any more? Or did we touch them?
So the whole Mongo and... Is it Mongo?
Mongol.
Sorry. I was thinking of Dungeon
okay.
Crawler Carl. It's fine. When he fought Arkillo
Oh, and Taurus tongue.
for the and then later on Arkillo has his own tongue on a necklace around his neck for a reminder. And that's it. Just a reminder. I was like, wow,
Yeah, he's hardcore.
he's hardcore.
I mean, he was like Sinestro's right-hand man kind of guy.
Uh-huh.
Like, so you know he's not happy.
No.
I thought it was interesting. So that this was more of an observation as me having read other comic series by this team. But Peter Tomasi and Peter Tomasi and Patrick Gleason are oftentimes working together on different books that I've talked about. But what's interesting is they seem to regularly include paternal elements. So you have like the Sornik Natu and Sinestro connection in this.
Yeah.
And then they wrote the Batman and Robin with Damian and Bruce. And then they wrote the Superman comics that deal with Superman and his son Jonathan.
Oh, interesting.
And so it's interesting because almost everything they worked on together in their time teamed up at DC had father-themed elements.
Nice.
Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting.
I thought that was super interesting.
Yeah.
Did you have any others?
I don't.
Oh, I was hoping you had another note. I think I don't have any more either. That was my last one. Oh, no, I did have one. I liked that Salak was the one that warned them about the Alpha Lantern discharges. Like, he knew something was wrong.
Yeah. When they started.
When he sent
true.
Guy and Kyle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was like, you guys need to go check on this because they're in the prisoner area and there's discharges going on.
Right.
And you could, I didn't get the idea that he was like, they might be in trouble. I think he was like, I don't trust
Something
what's
weird's going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I had noted was when Sarek and Ash met, they were the ones hunting for the Anti-Monitor. I like that
Right,
we got
yeah.
to see their meetup and got a little bit more of their direct interaction because in the previous read in Green Lantern, we saw them find the power battery
Right.
with the Monitor's corpse and realized that they were in big doo-doo. But in this one, we actually saw where they met.
Right.
And I liked that.
That was good.
That was a good moment.
Yeah.
It just gave us a little bit more of them
Right.
knowing where it led to. So I appreciated that. So we had a lot of good scenes, man. It was just...
and he was all like, keep my mouth, or my wife's words out of your mouth.
Yeah. He's like, I will kill you if you say her name again.
I know, right?
And you get this feeling that he means it. Like, you're like, I think he means it.
Because he's like, Green Lantern or no, I will kill you.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, here you go, Patrick. I think we know, but
you already know.
who is your favorite character?
Kilowog. Duh.
As soon as I read his like, look at your chest, I was like, well, there it is.
There it
Patrick's
is. I know.
favorite character of the week.
Yeah.
Kilowog did make it on my list, but I didn't put him at the top because I knew Pat would.
Yeah, for sure.
Why would I put him at the top of your list?
Shut up.
Because you always do.
Oh, anyway. So, who did you put at the top of your list?
I did Guy/Kyle.
I had Guy/Kyle on my list, like
Wow.
on one line.
That's crazy.
Boom. Just because of that part there at the end when they're like, no, we don't agree with this. This isn't what we do. We already like kicked someone out for doing this exact thing.
That's
and
why
now,
Liera got turned into a Red Lantern.
yeah, you know, it's kind of dumb that because you say it's okay, now it's okay.
Yeah.
When we literally just, ousted somebody else for this, apparent hypocrisy, whatever.
The other thing I liked, what they said in that moment, is they said, if we start executing prisoners, what do you think is going to happen when Green Lanterns get taken prisoner?
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, man, that was good. Because there is just...
I think that was a Guy line.
I think it was. But it was, I mean, that is impenetrable logic. If we start killing people when they're prisoners, if they take us prisoner, they're going to kill us too.
Yes.
Like, it's escalation protocol, right? Like, that was good. My favorite, I put, man, this is a tough one.
It was. Well, not for me.
I'm going to pick Natu. I'm going to pick Sornik Natu.
So between all three of us, we picked everybody that was on my list. So
There
good
you
job.
go. Perfect.
Well,
My list is done.
I also had Sinestro on my list because that scene with him
Sinestro.
was so good. It was a toss-up between him and Sornik. It's okay. Their blood's the same. I also noted that Sodom Yacht was really good in this one.
He was.
And he pulled an old parallax and went into the sun.
He did.
So, yeah. I thought he needed a shout-out, I felt like, for this
Right.
one. But yeah, Sornik, she went through it. She handled it as well as anybody could. I like that she was trying to keep her people together on her planet. She was like, just because we didn't execute Sinestro doesn't mean that this isn't a new era for us. Like, it was good. She had a lot of good moments in that, in those like 2 issues.
Yeah.
So, anyway, did you have a least favorite scene?
Yeah.
Was it the same? Oh. Mine was a toss-up. Which one did you pick?
No, when Sodom changed the star from red to yellow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's not how that works.
Dude, they changed the red to the blue in the other issue. The Blue Lanterns do.
They did. And I should have called that out too.
Listen, it worked.
But I was on my
it's comic book logic.
I was on my science horse today, so that's what you get.
So you disliked it for science?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
Yep.
My least favorite scene takes place right after that, when all the Daxamites get their powers
And they're underground.
and they're underground, and they just start shooting off laser beams and stuff out of their eyeballs.
Yes.
Or as Chris calls them, headballs. And Arigia is like, you guys got to control yourself. You can't like let this get your emotions all riled up. It's not going to be what you think it is. It's not going to be you going up there and just kicking his butt and some revenge-fueled yada yada. We got to stay underground. We got to get you trained up. We're going to do this right. We're going to take it easy. And they all just start insulting her and yelling at her and calling her
Right,
horrible
because
things.
they're
and
all xenophobes.
Yeah, I thought you would pick the Daxamite interaction at the end with his dad and her as your least favorite
I mean,
scene.
that was not a good
Yeah.
scene either.
No.
That's like an enraging scene
Yeah.
internally. Because he's literally like, yeah, we want you off of our planet. We don't like you and we don't want you here anymore, basically. Like, just straight up like,
Yeah.
oh, after she saves their butts, man.
Yep.
It's so gross. And there are people really like that. Is
But
why it's so terrible.
I had to back science this time.
I get it.
Yep.
I respect your stance on sons and science.
Darn right.
Sons in Science.
So my least favorite scene is the execution scene because the Smurfs freaking suck.
The
They
Smurfs
that
friggin' suck.
whole thing and how the Apple Lanterns are just like get out of the way, poof, and shoot another dude in the face. Like
Yeah, I
just
literally wrote, the
straight up.
Smurfs are horrible.
And then when they're like, oh, if there's nothing wrong with it, then why don't you do it in front of everybody? And so the Guardians literally pull them from the depths of the science cells
Yep.
to the very top of Owen infrastructure and just goes, fine, we'll do it out here. There you go. Get away.
Yeah.
And it's just like, man. Oh, it was such a, like that scene and the Daxamite scene, man. They were like back to back. And I was like, I hate all of these people. So who are your least favorite characters?
The Smurfs.
I figured that would be,
Yeah.
I thought that
Either
might
that
be.
or the Daxamite. I mean, it's a
It's a toss-up, right?
It really is.
Those are the two people on our list, right? Smurfs and Daxamites.
Did you
Right.
have a specific? He picked Smurfs specifically.
I just picked all the Daxamites. Like,
There you go.
I specifically put Sodom Yacht's Senator Dad. He, from the time he interacted with Sodom Yacht to when he was interacting with Aresia,
No, he was
to
horrible.
the time he is deplorable.
I mean, so was his wife.
Yes, but he just takes it to a level that's like you're like, no, he is the problem. Like,
I mean, sure.
but they
the
all.
Smurfs.
Oh no, I just like that both of those groups were written so well to be so unlikable.
Right.
Like just so scummy, man. Both of them. So, you know what time it is. It's time to rate this. What are we going to rate it out of?
Science cells.
Sign cell breakouts?
Yes.
I like that. You good with that?
Sure, why not? I can't think of anything else.
Better than prisoner executions.
Yes, it is.
That wasn't my first thought. I
I-beams?
just want you to know. No, that just makes me
Head
think of
balls.
construction. No, I like science cell breakouts.
Yeah.
Out of 5,
5.
of course. With a list as long as we had of
Yeah.
seen.
What the heck?
Yeah, it's all
Will, do you-
5.
Hey, listen, it's part of the structure.
I know it is.
So
Gotta go through the paces.
5. It's a 5, and so this concludes the lead up to Blackest Night.
It does.
Yes.
We've reached the beginning of Blackest Night now, but we're a couple weeks early from where we expected to be stopping. So we are going to have to read something else.
Yep.
I'm not sure what that's going to be. First off, for those of you who might have missed it, hopefully you noticed that we had a bonus episode earlier this week
Yeah.
on Monday in our new Guys with Character. And we showcased Squirrel Girl. If you didn't listen to it, go back, check it out. It's our new weekly segment. Look forward to that.
Yep.
You know, part of me thought this, technically, we're leading into October. We talked about what we were going to do for that. I thought about saying for the next 2 weeks, leading into that, we could read part 1 and part 2 of The Long Halloween. We could do that. But we could save that for the end of October,
I think we
right?
should
Because
save
then
that.
it's on Halloween, right? So one of you mentioned enjoying reading independent comics when we take breaks. I don't
Yeah,
remember which
it was
one.
me.
Was it
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
So I was thinking one of the 2 weeks we could do an independent. Do
Sure.
you have one in mind?
Nope.
Anything that you've thought about before?
Nope.
Well, then how about we'll do that the week after next. So you can look for one you'd like to throw at us.
Okie dokie.
And next week, what should we do? What should we do?
What are we going to do?
Any ideas? I have an idea. I do.
We could start Punisher.
We could read the first
You wanted an idea. There you go.
story arc in Punisher Max.
Yeah.
We could do that. I was going to say that. Well, we've talked about that since
We
like
have.
the very beginning.
Since the very beginning.
My other suggestion was going to be the Squirrel Girl that you have.
We could do Squirrel Girl.
But I like
you
your
mean the entire omnibus? I don't know if I have time for that.
So no,
Ain't
we
nobody got
we
time
have
for
talked about we've talked about reading Punisher Max on the podcast for
have.
a long time.
Yeah.
And I want to say the first story arc is I think it's 6 issues. I think it's called
don't
Welcome Back,
remember.
Frank.
But it was pretty good
Sure, we'll do that.
since I've already read it.
I will look it up. I will find out what the arc is. You own it.
This will be the second time, because I've read some of the saga before. This Second time
it'll
that
be
I've read
something
something.
you've read. We're basically rehashing stuff I've done, like since Green Lantern, way over half of the time. But early on, it was just maybe a little over half of the time because I read a lot of new stuff too with you guys. But yeah, so we'll do the first story arc, first short, like trade size story arc of Punisher Max. And I will post, I think it's 1 through 6. Punisher Max 1 through 6 is what I think it is. But just check the description to verify that it is those 6.
Yep.
Okay. We'll do that. We'll give you another DC break.
Right.
Brief break from DC. But we'll keep doing Marvel heroes for now. And we could technically spotlight villains. That's why I chose the word character instead of something with hero.
Yeah.
I did that on purpose. So...
Because we talk about like Doctor Doom or...
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to touch on all kinds of cool villains at some point.
You know, Chris, my wife dumped me because I'm obsessed with comic books. She says I have too many issues.
Wow, you are a guy with issues. If that would have been my case, I would have been Lego long time ago.
Long time ago.
Patrick's omnibuses are gonna start. Andy's got the squirrel girl.
I do.
It's a beautiful thing. I love that you're into this.
Yeah.
Welcome to the hobby.
Thanks.
And with that,
I'm Patrick.
this is Will. And that's Chris.
And that is Chris. And we are Guys with Issues.
We'll have character later on.
Eventually. You can catch Guys with Issues wherever you can find your favorite podcasts.
Or check out our website at guyswithissues.com, where you can listen, find reading lists, follow along, and get to know us better.
Send us emails to longbox@guyswithissues.com and tell us your thoughts or send us suggestions on what we should read next. We would love to hear from our listener. Tickled your love of
I
her.
really did.
Gonna say what I thought about that, but okay.
Yeah, just whatever you do, don't cut that up and make it sound like I'm a pervert.
Or he said tickle and she has a bag of nuts, calls her nutsack.
I think Will would really enjoy Squirrel Girl.
In the ticklish way?
I would be tickled.